The door that should have stayed closed, Jay stepped off the shuttle with a tired smile. After 2 days of space travel and one broken toilet, he had finally arrived on Zentha 9. It was his first off-Earth assignment, and honestly, he wasn't too excited. He was a repair technician, not some brave explorer. But the pay was good and the alien coffee, even better. The spaceport was clean, almost too clean. Everything glowed. The walls, the floors, even the air smelled like fresh lemons and plastic. Jay adjusted the strap of his tool bag and looked around. A tall, blue-skinned man with shiny eyes approached him. "Jay Carter?" the alien asked. "Yeah, that's me," Jay replied, trying not to stare. "I am Krellin, your housing officer. Welcome to Zenith campus. Please follow the rules and you will enjoy your stay." "Rules, huh?" Jay raised an eyebrow. "Anything I should know?" Krellin looked serious. "Yes. One thing. It is pairing up season for the Volari species." "Pairing up?" Jay blinked. "Like dating?" Krellin didn't smile. "More serious than dating. Bonds made during this time are permanent. If you see a Volari girl, keep your distance. And whatever you do, lock your door at night. Always." Jay chuckled nervously. Sure, locked door. Got it." His room wasn't bad. Small but clean. One bed, one desk, and a window with a view of Zentha's 2 moons. He flopped on the bed, stretched, and pulled out his tablet to scroll through orientation files. Boring. Boring. Don't touch alien wires. Don't eat the purple fruits. Don't pet anything that blinks. He yawned, tossed the tablet aside, and got up to make some instant noodles. Outside, the sun was setting. A soft blue glow filled the sky. The moons looked like giant silver coins. Jay heard a soft humming. Strange. It sounded like singing, but not in any language he knew. He walked to the window. Across the street he saw a girl. Tall, glowing skin, eyes like liquid gold. She was standing still, staring straight ahead like she was listening to music only she could hear. She turned suddenly and looked straight at him. Jay stepped back from the window. His heart skipped. "Nope, not dealing with that tonight," he muttered, shutting the curtain. It was late. Jay changed into his sleep clothes, yawned again, and fell into bed. The room was cool, quiet. But he forgot something. He forgot to lock the door. He woke up in the middle of the night. Not from a sound, but from a feeling. Like something was watching him. Jay opened one eye. At first, he thought he was dreaming. The room was glowing softly. Blue and gold light shimmered in the air like dust in sunlight. He sat up. There, at the foot of the bed, stood the Volari girl from earlier. Her skin shimmered. Her long silver hair floated like it was underwater. Jay's mouth went dry. Hi?" She tilted her head. Her eyes glowed brighter. He looked at the door. It was open. "You, shouldn't be here," he whispered, standing slowly. She said nothing. She stepped forward. Jay backed away until he hit the wall. She raised a hand and touched his arm. The moment her fingers made contact, his body froze. A burning sensation ran through his veins like fire and ice at the same time. Glowing lines appeared on his skin where she touched him. Symbols he didn't understand. What is this?" he gasped. She finally spoke. Her voice was soft and echoey like wind through trees. "Bond begins." Jay's vision blurred. The symbols on his arm pulsed like a heartbeat. He tried to scream, but the room spun fast. Too fast. Then, darkness. Morning. Jay sat up suddenly, gasping for breath. The room was quiet. The door was closed. The sunlight was normal. Had it all been a dream? But then he looked at his arm. The marks were still there, as glowing softly under his skin. His hands trembled. Someone knocked at the door. "Jay?" It was Krellin's voice. "You didn't lock your door last night, did you?" Jay didn't answer. Krellin spoke again, but this time, his voice was tight with fear. "Oh no. Jay, what have you done?" Waking up with trouble, Jay sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the glowing marks on his arm. They looked like alien tattoos, except they moved, like they were alive. One of the symbols pulsed like a heartbeat. Another shifted shape slowly, like a puzzle constantly solving itself. He rubbed them, hoping they'd just wipe off. Nope. Still there. Still glowing. He stood up, dizzy. Something felt different. His legs were fine, his arms worked. But his head? His thoughts, they felt louder, like someone else was in there with him, whispering in a language he almost understood. He splashed water on his face in the bathroom mirror. His reflection stared back at him, looking tired, confused, and maybe just a little afraid. Then it happened. For a second, just one quick second, his eyes glowed gold in the mirror. Jay jumped back, heart pounding. What the hell? A loud knock at the door, then another. Then boom, 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 someone was banging like their life depended on it. Jay, open the door, now! It was Krellin's voice, but sharper. Urgent. Jay rushed over and opened the door. Krellin stormed in, scanning Jay from head to toe. Oh, stars above, he muttered. She marked you. Yeah, thanks for noticing, Jay said. Who is she? What did she do to me? Krellin didn't answer right away. He grabbed a small device from his belt and scanned Jay's arm. The device beeped and started glitching. Great. My scanner just shorted out, Krellin muttered. She really did it. She chose you. Jay crossed his arms. Okay, you keep saying that like I just got invited to prom. What does it actually mean? Krellin finally looked him in the eyes. Jay, you're bonded to a Volari. Yeah, that part I figured out between the glowing tattoos and the glowing eyeballs. You don't get it. The bond is not just emotional, it's biological, mental. If she's feeling pain, you'll feel it. If she's angry, you'll lose your temper. And when the bond strengthens, you'll start seeing what she sees. Jay's mouth dropped. Wait, like, in her head? Worse, you'll become part of her, and she'll become part of you. Forever. Jay paced the room like a trapped animal. Can I break it? Cut it out? Unbond? Block her on alien Facebook or something? Krellin shook his head. No, there's no unfriend button here. The only known way to break a Volari bond is death. Jay stopped cold. Mine or hers? Yes. He sat back down, overwhelmed. I'm just a repair guy. I fix vending machines, not galactic curses. Krellin leaned closer. There's something else. When a Volari chooses a mate during pairing season, they don't choose at random. They choose for a reason. And this girl, she's not normal. She's powerful, connected. Jay's heart sank. Of course she is. And if anyone finds out who marked you, Volari soldiers, security, even other aliens, some will want to use you. Others will want to eliminate you. Great, Jay said. So now I'm cursed, hunted, and glowing like a nightclub floor. Jay left the dorm later that day with a hoodie pulled over his head and a new plan: find out who this girl is. He headed to the campus archives, Zentha's version of Google, but run by glowing orbs and whispery librarians who looked like sentient jellyfish. The AI librarian, shaped like a floating cube with too many eyes, scanned Jay's marks and blinked slowly. Volari Royal Class. Bloodline match, House of Naraya. Royal? Jay asked, half laughing, half panicking. Like, Princess? Royalton confirmed. Naraya of the Volari, daughter of High General Arx. Jay stepped back. Of course I get space bonded to an alien princess. Why not? Let's throw in a death prophecy while we're at it. Processing, the AI said politely. Prophecy detected. Jay blinked. Wait, seriously? Before he could get more answers, the screen went black. System failure. Suddenly, the air in the room grew cold. Every jellyfish librarian floated upward and disappeared into the ceiling. Jay turned slowly. At the back of the archive, in the shadows, someone was standing, a tall armored figure with glowing red eyes, watching him. No face, no words, just watching. Jay didn't wait. He ran. Back in his room, Panting and sweating, he locked every bolt and even pushed a chair against the door for good measure. That night, as he tried to sleep, a whisper echoed in his head. Soft, familiar, beautiful, terrifying. You are mine, now, Jay, and they will come for you. His heart pounded. Outside his window, the shadows moved again. The bond no one wants. Jay hadn't slept. Every time he closed his eyes, she was there. Naraya, the glowing alien girl who had marked him. But this time, she wasn't just watching. She was inside his dreams. One moment he'd be standing in his room, and the next he was floating in some alien ocean, seeing stars swirl like fireflies above his head, hearing her voice whisper in his mind soft like wind through crystal. You see me now, you hear me now, and soon you'll become me. He'd wake up soaked in sweat, heart pounding, body freezing cold. But it wasn't just the dreams, it was the echoes. During the day, he'd catch flickers of her emotions. Fear, confusion, even hunger. He once tasted something sweet while brushing his teeth. He hadn't eaten anything. Once, while walking across campus, he suddenly froze mid-step. For a second, his hands moved on their own, fingers twisting in the air, drawing symbols that glowed and then vanished. A Valari passing by saw him and dropped his drink, staring in horror. Jay ran. Krellin tried to calm him down. You're changing, Jay. The bond is sinking you to her. It's stronger than we thought. Jay glared at him. You told me it was unbreakable. Now you're saying it gets worse? Krellin nodded grimly. Most humans don't survive full sinking. Their minds collapse. You're lucky. Or unlucky. We don't know which yet. Jay paced the room. Why me? I'm nobody. I fix wires and yell at vending machines. She's some royal alien goddess, and I'm just... Exactly, Krellin interrupted. You're not important. That's why this makes no sense. Naraya is a general's daughter. Her bond should have gone through layers of approval and tradition, but she marked you. In secret. During pairing season. Jay stopped pacing. So, what? You think she broke the rules? Krellin nodded slowly. Or she's hiding something. Later that evening, Jay sat alone in the archive's back wing, surrounded by old digital records. He'd hacked past the AI's filters using an old Earth trick. Have you tried turning it off and on again? He pulled up everything on Valari bonding rituals, focusing on forbidden ones. That's when he found it. A file tagged Archive 9, Mutual Collapse. It was partially corrupted, but he read enough. When a Valari royal forcibly bonds with a non-Valari, the connection may unlock hidden abilities within the non-Valari host. If not controlled, these abilities could cause mental disintegration, planetary telekinetic events, or localized dimensional tearing. Jay blinked at the screen. Dimensional tearing? That sounds very not ideal. Then the file froze. The lights flickered. And behind him, that cold presence. Again. He turned, heart pounding, and saw something new. A Valari male, tall, armored in obsidian plating with sharp lines glowing dull red. Not watching. Approaching. Jay backed up slowly. Look, if you're here to talk, we can do that. If you're here to kill me, please at least explain why first. The Valari didn't speak. Instead, he raised a hand and Jay felt it, his mind rattling, his vision splitting. Suddenly, he wasn't in the archive anymore. He was standing in a Valari throne room. Cold, blue, metallic walls, long banners, throne empty, and Naraya, kneeling. Blood. On her hands. Guards surrounding her. Jay gasped. He stumbled backward and found himself back in the archive. What was that? The Valari male stepped forward. You saw her memory, he said at last. The bond is evolving. That means we cannot let you live. Jay opened his mouth to reply, but the lights flashed again and the Valari was gone. Just gone. Like he was never there. Jay ran back to his dorm, nearly knocking over a four-eyed student on the way. He slammed the door, locked it, and sat in the dark. Then her voice came again, not just in his head, in the room. Jay, I didn't want to. I had no choice. He turned. She was there again. Not physically, some kind of projection flickering like a ghost made of light. Naraya looked tired, scared. Jay whispered, "You marked me. You did this. You've destroyed my life." "I saved your life," she whispered back. "They were going to erase you. You saw too much. The repair accident last month, you weren't supposed to survive it. You were marked for deletion." Jay's head spun. "What accident?" She showed him. A flicker of memory, not his, but hers. A lab. Jay lying unconscious, a machine overloading. Her voice. "They wanted to cover it up. I saw you. I felt something. And I bonded with you to save your mind." Jay backed away, breathing hard. "So now what? I'm your prisoner?" She looked up at him, sad. "No. You're something worse. You're my only way out." The projection vanished. Jay stood there alone in the dark. He looked down at his arm. The symbols had changed. They were forming something new. Coordinates. Run, human. Run. Jay stared at the glowing symbols on his arm. They weren't just shapes anymore. They had shifted, slowly, painfully, into numbers. Alien coordinates. A place. He didn't know where it was, but every time he looked at it, he felt a low humming in his bones, like a magnet was pulling him. "You're my only way out," Naraya had said. What did that mean? Was she trapped? Was this a rescue mission or a setup? Jay didn't have time to figure it out, because the next morning the entire campus went into lockdown. The alarm blared across Zentha 9's university dome. "Attention. Bioenergy breach detected. Unidentified bonding signal located. All non-security personnel must evacuate or return to quarters. Immediate compliance is mandatory." Jay's heart stopped. They were looking for him. They had traced the bond. He grabbed his bag, shoved in some supplies, and checked the hallway. Empty. He slipped out quietly, hoodie over his head, moving fast. But it was too late. Down the corridor, two tall armored figures stood waiting. Valari enforcers, faces hidden, weapons charged. Jay didn't wait. He turned and ran. The campus was crawling with guards now, Valari and others. Drones zipped through the air, scanning students, searching for his signature. Jay ducked under a stairwell, tapped his wristband, and pulled up the coordinates from his arm. He cross-referenced it with the city map. A location blinked on the edge of the district. Old District 17, Forbidden Zone. Shut down after a failed terraforming experiment. Great. The creepy part of town, exactly where horror movies start. After hours of dodging patrols, hiding in trash piles twice, and climbing a sewage pipe that smelled like burnt socks, Jay finally reached District 17. It was quiet. Too quiet. Buildings looked abandoned. The lights flickered like they were tired of existing, and then from the shadows, movement. Jay flinched, raised his only weapon, a stolen cafeteria tray. "Don't move," he shouted. "I've got lunchware," a low voice replied, dry with sarcasm. "Great. The hero of Earth, everyone." Armed with a tray. Out stepped a figure, a human, a woman in dark armor with an eye patch and a smirk. Behind her, more people emerged from the shadows. Humans. A few aliens, all wearing the same symbol, a broken circle painted in red. "Name's Saul," the woman said. "We've been watching you, Jay." Jay blinked. "I've been trying not to be watched, thanks." Saul stepped closer. "We're the Cracked Halo. A resistance group. We help people who get tangled up in Valari business." Jay lowered his tray. "So you know about the bond?" "We know everything," Sewell said, eye narrowing. "We also know that Naraya isn't just bonded to you. She's hiding inside you. The bond has deepened past normal stages. She can use your eyes now, your voice, maybe more." Jay's skin went cold. "She's not doing it on purpose," he said. "She said I was her only way out." "And you believed her?" Sewell snapped. That girl killed 3 rebel agents last cycle. She's not some lost princess. She's a weapon. Built by her father, General Arx, for one purpose, infiltration. Jay stepped back. No, she saved me. She didn't have to bond with me. Or maybe she had to, Sewell said darkly. Because she was compromised. Because someone needed a body to hide in. A place the Valari couldn't scan. And your mind? Was the perfect shell. Jay didn't want to believe it. But a part of him already felt the cracks. Last night he had woken up standing on his bed, hand glowing. No memory of how he got there. Sol handed him a small cube. Your bond is stronger than anything we've seen, but this device can suppress it for a short time. We need you stable, because we're heading straight into Valari territory. Why? Jay asked. Because the place your coordinates point to isn't just some location. She took a breath. It's a buried Valari lab. One that was supposed to be destroyed after the war. And according to intel, it's where Naraya was made. Jay's mouth went dry. Wait, what do you mean made? Sewell looked him straight in the eye. She's not a person, Jay. She's a prototype. A living weapon designed to bond, infiltrate, and destroy from the inside out. You're the test subject. The next day they set out for the lab. Jay felt the hum from the coordinates getting louder. He couldn't tell if Naraya was afraid or excited. As they entered the ruins, lights flickered on. The walls pulsed like veins. Something was still alive here, and deep inside, a chamber opened automatically. Inside, a second containment pod, with another version of Naraya floating inside. It exactly the same, eyes closed, not a dream, not a projection. Real. Jay froze. The Naraya he knew, the one who bonded with him, was not the original. Mind games and moonlight. Jay stood frozen in the doorway of the ruined Valari lab, staring at the containment pod. Inside it, another Naraya floated in blue stasis fluid, motionless. Eyes closed. Same glowing hair. Same markings on her skin. Same golden eyes. Shut. His knees almost gave out. What the hell? He whispered. Then who's been talking to me? Who's in my head? Sewell stepped forward, face grim. That, Jay, is what we came to find out. The room around them pulsed faintly, as if the building itself was alive. The lights flickered in rhythmic waves like it was breathing. Jay didn't want to step closer, but he did. Slowly. Each step felt heavier than the last. Sol and her rebel team ran scans. The computer system had long since decayed, but one of the AI cores was still functioning. Barely. Sol tossed Jay a headset. You're linked to her. If we want answers, you have to go in. Jay hesitated. You mean go in like my mind? More like her mind, Sewell said. Your connection is strong enough now that you can enter her memory field if she lets you. And if she doesn't? You'll lose your sense of self, she said casually. Maybe forever. Just don't think about that part. Comforting. Thanks. He put on the headset. A soft hum filled his ears. The world around him melted into light, and then darkness. He was standing in a Valari city. But it wasn't real. It shimmered like a dream underwater. There, on a balcony, stood Naraya. She turned as if she'd been expecting him. You found the other me, she said quietly. I hoped you wouldn't. Jay walked closer. So, you're not real? I'm real enough, she said. I'm a mind clone, a fragment. I escaped when the original Naraya was put in stasis. I lived inside the lab's memory systems, waiting. Jay's head spun. So you bonded with me to survive? She nodded. I saw the crash, saw your brain shutting down. You were dying. I slipped in. I needed your mind to stay alive. You used me. I saved you. Jay clenched his fists. But you lied to me. I didn't lie, she said, stepping closer. I only didn't tell you everything. You wouldn't have helped me if you knew I wasn't the original. He looked away. You're not even her. You're a copy, She tilted her head. Does that make me less real? Jay didn't answer, because part of him wanted to believe her. Suddenly, the city around them shook. Cracks split the sky. Naraya turned sharply. They're inside the system. Who? The Valari AI Defense Corps. It's trying to delete me. It thinks I'm a virus. Jay grabbed her hand. Real or not, it felt solid. Then we run. They ran through her memory world as buildings fell and light fractured. Every structure they passed was a memory. Her first moment of awareness, her creation, her isolation. Jay saw flashes, Valari scientists arguing over her programming. General Arx, her father, saying, she must obey. She is not a daughter, she is a weapon. Her face full of sadness. She turned to Jay as they ducked into a crumbling data shelter. I didn't want to be what they made me, she said. I bonded with you because I wanted to be something else. Jay caught his breath. Something human, she nodded. Something free. Back in the real world, alarm screamed. Sol shouted, Jay, you're spiking. Neural levels going haywire. Inside the memory world, Naraya looked panicked. They found us. What happens if they catch you? I vanish. And you'll wake up, with part of me still inside you. Forever. Jay looked around. Then what do we do? She hesitated. There's one door left, the emergency exit. It'll download everything I am into a core. But you have to take it. Where is it? She pointed to a door at the end of a collapsing hallway. Jay didn't think. He ran. Behind him, shadows chased them, glitching figures of Valari guards and machines made of screaming code. He reached the door, slammed his hand on the panel. The world shattered in white light. Jay gasped awake in the real world, yanking the headset off. Smoke filled the lab. Sol looked up from her console, stunned. Did it work? Jay opened his palm. In it, a small glowing crystal, the downloaded memory core. And in his head, her voice. I'm still here, Jay. He dropped the crystal in shock. It hovered midair, humming with life. What? You were supposed to go in the crystal. I did, but part of me stayed with you. You opened the door. You let me in. Sol stepped back, her eyes narrowing. You bonded twice, Jay. You're not just connected to her anymore, you're part of her. Jay stood up slowly, and for just a moment, his eyes glowed gold again. The escape plan, that wasn't Jay, stared at the glowing crystal floating in front of him, Naraya's full memory core, and tried not to panic. I'm still here, Jay. Her voice echoed gently in his mind. Part of me is in the crystal, but part of me is you now. He stumbled back, clutching the table. That wasn't the deal. You said the bond could be downloaded. It was, but the bond chose you. I didn't. Sol stepped forward, weapon raised. Jay, tell me you're still you. Jay blinked. I think so. Maybe. I still crave coffee and make bad decisions, so 70% me. Yeah, well, that 30% has glowing eyes and alien code running through your veins, she said flatly. And that means we've got a problem. Jay turned to her. We? What happened to we? Sol lowered her weapon just a little. Jay, listen. The Valari will hunt you until the stars burn out. You're bonded to a rogue AI fragment carrying royal blood data and military secrets. You're not a person to them anymore. You're a target and a threat. Jay gave a bitter laugh. Funny. I used to be a guy who couldn't fix a vending machine. Now I'm some kind of space virus. Sol looked away. You're something worse. You're a glitch in their system. The plan was simple. In theory, get Jay off-world using Sol's ship. Reach a rebel outpost in a neutral system. Use the memory core to prove Naraya wasn't a weapon, but a prisoner of her own programming. Only one problem. Someone leaked the plan. The launch pad was quiet. Too quiet. Jay felt it first. That pressure in his bones. The way the bond with Naria always warned him just before something bad happened. Something's wrong, he said. Sol gave a curt nod. Yeah, I smell it too. Either someone's waiting for us or we walked into our own funeral. They approached the ship. That's when the sky turned red. Valari dropships descended from above. Dozens. Armored enforcers surrounded them before they could blink. Jay's mind screamed. The bond flared. Naraya's voice shouted inside his head. They found us. Get out, Jay. Run. Too late for that, he whispered. They tried to fight. Sol's crew held them off for as long as they could, but the Valari were faster, stronger, brutal. One rebel was thrown across the hangar like a rag doll. Another exploded in a flash of plasma. Jay activated his stolen suppressor device. It fizzled, overloading. Naraya's presence surged through him like lightning, and then it all went quiet. Time slowed down. Jay turned to see Sol fighting hand-to-hand with a Valari elite. Her movements were sluggish like underwater ballet. Jay blinked and suddenly saw everything, every motion, every intention. Naraya had unlocked something. Jay, she said in his head, let me show you how to move like them. He moved, and for the first time he didn't feel human. He felt like something else. He dodged a strike before it came, threw a guard across the room without touching him. The air shimmered around him. Sol stared. What are you? I don't know, he breathed. Then, betrayal. One of Sol's crew turned, shot her in the side. Jay froze. No! Sol collapsed. The traitor, an alien named Voss, picked up the crystal and tossed it to the nearest Valari commander. I told you he wouldn't leave without a fight, Voss said smugly. You owe me. Jay's rage exploded. The bond went wild. He didn't scream, but the hangar did. Metal groaned. Walls bent inward. Time warped around him again, this time in chaos. Jay, stop, Naraya begged in his mind. You'll kill them all. He tried. He couldn't. His body moved on instinct. Valari soldiers screamed as their weapons bent like paper. The crystal shot across the room and slammed back into Jay's hand, and then, just like that, it was over. Jay collapsed. The Valari backed away. Even they were afraid. He woke up in restraints inside a containment cell, alone. Sol was gone. His arms were bound in glowing shackles. A single drone hovered in front of him, projecting a calm, synthetic voice. Jay Carter of Earth, you are now property of the Valari Authority. Your body contains forbidden AI matter, experimental bonding code, and stolen royal memory signatures. You will be extracted, deconstructed, studied. Jay lifted his head, blood on his lip. Sorry, he muttered. I'm not available for extraction today. The drone didn't react. Your final destination has been decided. You are being transported to Valari Prime. Jay's heart dropped. We call it the Core. Far away in a distant rebel outpost, and Sol awoke in a medical pod, alive but broken. A hooded figure stood beside her. You survived, they said. Barely, she replied. He's still alive. The figure nodded. Yes, but not for long. Sol's voice hardened. Then we'd better reach the Core before they take him apart. One last door, darkness. Jay floated in it, weightless, wordless. Every thought drifted like fog. He didn't know how long he'd been unconscious. Hours? Days? Time had no meaning in the Core, the Valari's most secret, most feared facility. A fortress buried inside a frozen moon, surrounded by black holes wrapped in layers of silence. But one thing was certain. He was dying. The restraints were tighter now, wrapped around his chest, his arms, his skull. He couldn't feel his limbs, just the cold hum of machines scanning, slicing, mapping the inside of his brain. A voice whispered in the dark. They're not just studying you, Jay, they're rebuilding you. It was her again, Naraya, still inside him even now. They want to separate us. Jay's voice was a raspy whisper. Can they? Yes, but not without destroying you. Cool, cool. No pressure. Back on the outskirts of Valari Prime, Sol was very much not dead, and very, very angry. Her rebel ship shot through the nebula, headed straight for the core. Her crew was small, wounded, and exhausted, but desperate. She slammed her fist on the dash. We've got one shot, one entry point, one mission. Get Jay out before they turn him into a weapon. Inside the facility, the lead Valari scientist, a robed creature with crystal arms and no mouth, spoke directly to Jay's mind. The bond has matured. It is now irreversible, but it is also replicable. Jay's eyes flickered open. What do you mean replicable? You were the test. But now, we can copy the bond, control it, create thousands like you. Human shells, Valari minds. Jay's blood ran cold. They weren't just studying him, they were turning him into a blueprint. At the same time, something woke up in Jay. It wasn't just Naraya anymore. It was him, his will, his fight, his humanity. Let me in, Jay, Naraya whispered. All the way. No more barriers. Jay hesitated. If I do, I won't be me anymore. You'll be more than you, but still you. Only stronger. His body trembled. We only have one chance, she said. One door left. Sol's team breached the core. Explosions shook the walls. Blasters rang through the halls. Chaos. But Jay was still locked down, deep in the extraction chamber. They wouldn't reach him in time. That's when Jay did the unthinkable. He gave in. He opened the last part of the bond, the final door. His mind exploded with light. Memories flooded him. Not just Naraya's, but generations of Valari code. Knowledge, pain, war, beauty. He saw stars being born, planets breaking. The moment Naraya's creators argued over giving her a soul, and, in the middle of all that, Jay, still human. But now, something more. His restraints shattered. The lights died. The core trembled. Valari scientists screamed as gravity warped. Jay stood up, glowing, burning with a light they'd never seen before. He walked through walls, bent the air. Time flickered as he passed. They had built a weapon, but what they got was a reckoning. Sol burst into the chamber just in time to see Jay floating above the ground, energy pulsing from him like waves. Jay! He turned to her, eyes gold white, but his voice was his own. Hey, glad you made it. She lowered her weapon slowly. You're not him. He smiled sadly. I am, just upgraded. She stepped closer. Can you control it? I don't know. Then his smile faded. But I know how to end it. They escaped just as the core began to collapse in on itself. Imploding, folding into space like a dying star. No weapons fired. No codes input. Jay had simply spoken to the facility, and it obeyed, because part of him was Valari now, but not their kind of Valari. Weeks later, Jay sat alone on a hilltop, staring at a quiet alien sky. No glowing, no bond flares, just peace. Naraya's voice whispered one last time. I'm fading, Jay. You're strong enough now. You don't need me anymore. Jay closed his eyes. You saved me. We saved each other. And just like that, she was gone. For the first time in weeks, his mind was silent, but his eyes still flickered gold, just for a second. Because somewhere out there, someone would try again. Someone would build another core. And when they did, Jay would be waiting, with the door locked,